is up and we shall. Good evening once again to all participants.
Good evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, aspiring scholars, you're welcome to this our seminar, The Scholar's Journey, a practical guide to entering graduate school and securing master's and PhD funding. Now, a few years ago, one gentleman set out to pursue a prestigious postgraduate degree program. He was earning just enough to satisfy himself, but he was ambitious, so he took the challenge of the program. Less than a year to his completion, he had crashed out. Reason, he lacked the funds to continue. It was a devastating pause to his career-defining pursuit, and just when he had energy to continue, COVID-19 also struck, and his job was already struggling. So guess what? He couldn't go anymore. So what was his error? Your guess is as good as mine. He wasn't fully prepared to pursue this program. His enthusiasm was just not enough. It was his biggest ally, but he forgot that his mightiest foe was his financial wherewithal. So this is one of the many stories of such daring young men and women who have failed to add to this, add to the suffixes of their name. This MSc, MPhil, PhD thing. So today we are going to embark on this journey of knowledge and guidance, where we'll be exploring the intricacies regarding graduate school application. So ladies and gentlemen, you are very much once again welcome to this webinar. Kind Courtesy Yafo Institute, a research-based establishment which seeks social justice and equitable opportunity for all. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm Akwesi Jemfi, and I'll be your moderator for today of this seminar of insight. I'm going to introduce our dignitaries in no particular order. I'll first start with Barbara Fusu, a very young and exciting lady. She's the campus convener of Yafo Institute, and it is through her ingenuity that we have this program. We also have the president of Yafo himself. He's done amazing work regarding civic and social research. His recent work is about the nature of the conduct of the Electoral Commission of the recent limited voter registration, and he's been very, very vociferous in speaking out against how the whole thing was being conducted. So, Mr. Nathaniel Jomna, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And also we have our speaker himself. He needs no introduction. We are proud to be partnering with him once again. He holds a PhD from the Ruhr University of Bochum, Germany. His area of specialization is the soil science. And we find him the right person to speak to this matter, as he has great wealth of knowledge and experience in the postgraduate application process. To even make such applications easier, he has put the experiences together in a book called The Scholar's Journey, and that's what we are going to go through. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to present to you Albert Kobnam Biensa, BSc, MSc, PhD. Doctor, you're welcome. Dr. Kobnam Biensa.
Hello. Can you hear me?
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm pleased to be here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're also pleased to have you. So without further ado, I shall invite Ms. Barbara Fusu to give us an idea of the reason for which we are gathered here on this platform. Ms. Barbara Fusu, the mic is yours.
Okay, hello everyone. I hope you can hear me. I'm glad to be here, and I'd like to welcome all of you, our esteemed scholars, to the Scholars Journey today, as we embark on a transformative exploration of successfully navigating graduate school I'm honored to stand before you as the campus convener for Yafo Institute, and I believe that together we can uncover the road to excellence in graduate education. I believe that this gathering will symbolize our commitment. It symbolizes our commitment to our academic aspirations. And I also believe that as we dive into today's discussions and insights, let's all keep in mind that we are not alone on this journey. Our esteemed speakers are here to help us throughout the way and to empower us with the knowledge and resources that we need to thrive in our graduate studies. I hope that all of us will make use of this opportunity to connect, learn, and then chart our course to academic success. And I also believe that this event is not just it's not going to be a one-day event. It's going to be a stepping stone towards all of us realizing our full potentials. And once again, I would like to thank you for joining us. On that note, let us begin our enlightening journey together.
Thank you very much, Barbara. Thank you very much. We shall hand over to Dr. very soon, but just to also notify all of us participating, if you have any questions as we advance, kindly drop it into the chat box. We will be very, very happy to read them out and then have Dr. Share his insight on it and all other resource persons here too. Doctor, I believe you can hear me.
Now, I think my internet got a bit sketchy, so pardon me because of the rain. So it's a bit sketchy, but I hope that it becomes stabilized for us to have a fruitful discussion, and you really love it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So on that note, we hand over to you to take us through. First off, you may want to take us through your journey, your postgraduate journey,
Okay.
following the attainment of your bachelor's degree through your MSc, down up to your PhD. So, Doctor,
Okay.
we are yours.
Okay, thank you so much. Can you please enable me so that I can share my slide?
Okay, Yafo, please.
You can share your slides now.
Or I should do it again?
Yeah, try it again. You can share your slides.
It's still not possible.
Wow.
It still tells me host disabled participant screen.
Because now you are the host, so you should be able to share your slides. I just made you the host. Are you able to do that?
Okay, as we wait for Doctor to share his slides, just a quick reminder also that if you have any message, you can drop it in the chat box, or you can still forward to any of us privately, and we would deliver it to Doctor to speak about it.
I think he has left the meeting. His network is not helping.
It's not helping.
Yeah, he just left the meeting. He's back. Mm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Doc, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
So my internet actually went off. So I'm just trying to join in again with my laptop. So, but I decided to join in using my phone.
Okay.
So that we don't delay any further. So I'm glad to be here today to share with you my journey to graduate school. And you will also be able to borrow some lessons, and you'll be able to draw some inspirations towards you or towards your application into graduate school. You can hear me, I hope.
Yes,
We
please.
can hear you.
Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to join here so that I can share my screen. Okay, so okay, I think I'm getting. Okay, so I can share my screen now. I can share my screen now. So I think I have to leave one. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Hello,
hear you.
doctor.
We can hear you.
You're loud and clear. You're loud and clear.
Awesome. So I have here the scholar's journey. I have here the scholar's journey. So a practical guide to entering graduate school and securing funding for masters and PhD. I must tell you before we start, can I see how many of you are in graduate school? Just show by hand. How many of you are in graduate school? Okay, let me pause the share. Okay. Can you please show your hands? How many of you if you are in a graduate school? Okay, so only one person is in graduate school here.
Please use the reaction button.
Okay, so only one person.
And
how many of you are degree holders?
I think a good number of us are degree holders, first degree holders.
Okay. Okay, nice. So 4 others have raised their hands. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so now we must bear in mind that in graduate school, especially when we want to school outside, and even here in Ghana, in graduate school, we are not interested in getting admission. Okay, put it in mind that we are not interested in getting admissions. So some of you can also be, you can be quoting some of the things that are some snapshot of my quotes. You can be sharing them on social media, either on Twitter, on Instagram, or on Facebook. You are free to do that. It's okay with me. So in graduate school, we are not interested in the admission or getting admission. We are first interested in getting funding. Because if it's about admission, as far as you got second class, upper, and first class, even lower, you can get admission. But it is not about admission that we are searching for. We are searching for funding. And especially for a PhD, you can't do it without funding. Maybe here, even here in Ghana, but it's somehow impossible to do a PhD without funding. You know why? Because of the fact that it demands a lot, and you are not supposed to cut corners. Everything that must be done during your PhD must be done. But if you don't have funding, you'll be tempted to cut corners and say, "Oh, wait a minute, because I didn't get the money," which is not like that. If you had funding, as far as you're supposed to do, even if the thing is in Afghanistan or Pakistan, if you are supposed to go there and do experiment and come, for your PhD, you are supposed to go and come. Okay, so it is funding we are looking for. So whatever you are doing, it is because of funding. That is why we have gathered here. If it's about admission, as for UK universities, you can get admission. You just apply and you get admission. And I'm sure some of you have tried UK universities, right? Because when you apply, you are going to get. But the question is, are you going to get the funding? Are you going to get a scholarship? So that's what we are gathered here for. So I'll share with you a snapshot of my experience. Then later we come to those. What you are supposed to do to be able to enter into graduate school. You may be borrowing some lessons from my experiences, and see how you'll be able to carve your niche out of my experiences for your own good and for that of the society and for your family. So I started school in 1992, straight from class 1. I didn't go to kindergarten when I started school, because I was already 7 when I started school. So between 1992 to 2001, I attended basic school to junior high school at Prisia Anglican Basic School. So in 2001, I graduated as their best. I was a school prefect, and I also graduated as their best graduating student. Then 2001, 2004, I attended senior secondary school, and actually I was supposed to go to Takwa Secondary School, but then I was coming from a very challenging background, So financially challenged background, so it was hard. So they sent me to Prisia Secondary School because it was a day school and the fees were not so much. I started school with 5 Ghana cedis. I started secondary school with 5 Ghana cedis. My school fees was 15 Ghana cedis. Even that one, it was difficult for me to pay. And now it was difficult to get someone who could help me do the payment. But then at long last, I was able to start. I started. So 2004, I finished my SSCE, and I was the best graduating student. Then I stayed at home for 3 years due to financial difficulty. I told you I was very financially challenged. So I stayed at home for 3 years. 2004, 2007, I taught as a pupil teacher. in Prisia Islamic. Junior Secondary School, and also at Pristia Nanado Preparatory Junior Secondary School. Yeah. So when I finished, because the school I attended was quite a very poor one, I think now things have actually improved in that school, but it was really a poor one. We didn't have teachers. We were doing combinations that were not matching up. Sorry, that were not matching up to enter into the university. So I did a bachelor of, I did agric science instead of doing general science, because they were not offering general science at the school. So I did agric science, and agric science, I didn't do physics. I didn't do elective mathematics, so we were supposed to do elective maths, chemistry, physics, and general agriculture. But I did only chemistry. I did general agriculture and crop husbandry and horticulture. So my combinations were not enough to enter into the university. So 2004, I applied. 2005. Those times when you finish secondary school, you wait for 1 year before you go to the
Hello,
university.
Doctor.
Hello.
Hello, Doctor. Yes, please. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. For the purposes of keeping within time, I would be very glad if you can share with us some insights more about your following your masters. I think you had your masters at Kenyatta University in Nairobi. And on your return, I think that's where I'm particularly interested in. Yes, you mentioned that in your book, that on your return you face a lot of challenges, and I just want you to hammer it a little bit. What are the challenges we are likely to face following just your first degree or a master's? Then you can take it from there.
So I'll summarize here. So because my combinations were not adding up to enter into the university, I had to write thesis on my own. And when I wrote the thesis in 2006, private exams, I passed. So I added it to my results, and I went to the university in 2007. So in university education and work in Ghana, so I was at the University of Cape Coast. So I stayed at home for 3 years, and I was at the University of Cape Coast between 2007 2011. So I did general agriculture and soil science. Then 2011 to 2012, I was a teaching assistant at the soil science department. Then 2012 to 2013, I was an integrated science teacher at Holy Child School. Then 2016 to 2017, I came back from Kenya, which I'm going to take you through, and I got a research stay at the Department of Soil Science, University of Cape Coast. Now, my days in Nairobi, Kenya. So what took me to Nairobi? It was my first time of traveling outside Ghana. So so I went in September 2013. I was a dad in Regent Scholar. So I was there between 2013 and 2016. So January 2016, I defended my thesis, and I came back home. I came back to Ghana in March 2016. So I came back, and life was not easy. I got some projects that it was an internship offered by Association of African Universities. So it was a 3-month internship, and they were giving $600. But I was not having a job. I wasn't getting a job, and it was really, really difficult getting a job. So I applied for that funding, and I got it. So I went to Cape Coast University, soil science again, to sort of do an internship. So when I was doing the internship, I was working on a project. Then I realized that I could actually develop a proposal from that project and use it for a PhD. So I spoke to one, I'll tell you about that one, how to get a professor. I spoke to one man who was in Germany and was having this particular professor. So this is one way of getting a supervisor. So I've even started teaching you how to get a supervisor. So this particular man, the man was working with him, he was the professor. So I spoke with the friend and told him that I have a proposal, if he can speak with his professor to take me on. So he spoke with the professor, and the professor was interested. So I sent my CV to the professor in my proposal, and he took me on. Then after that, he gave me a letter to apply for funding. So just like I've told you, getting the scholarship is different from getting funding. It's different from getting admission. So you should always aim at getting admission, getting scholarship, not funding. Sorry, getting funding, but not admission. So 2007, I was there. I started with Deutsch course. I worked in 2 labs in Bochum and in Wuppertal. And by 2021, December, I defended my thesis. My research was on arsenic contamination and remediation of active and abandoned gold mine spoils in Ghana. So I worked in this lab, and I also worked in Wuppertal and in Bochum. So that was my PhD on. So that's why I worked on this topic. So you can see that when you go to mining areas, mining waste are indiscriminately disposed. And you can see that it's not disposed well. So now when it rains, it is going to wash them ashore, and it's going to get into the water bodies, it's going to get into the food chain, and it's going to get into the groundwater. And the subsequent repercussions or the consequent repercussions will be borne by us as humans. We are prone to getting a lot of non-communicable diseases. So okay, so we can see here, you can see all these are from mining sites, are not properly regulated, so they are disposing the waste into the environment, and in fact, this is dangerous. The human health impact, and also have mine land that is actually left without being reclaimed. So, and it becomes a playing ground for children. Why it is there as that don't swim in this pond, but children are swimming in it. So this is the field where I did my study data collection. So I worked on this particular land, and I was looking at how we can clean that land of toxic elements, because human health impacts, we can get diseases, skin diseases like Buruli ulcer, can get wasting diseases, cancer. Oh. And I told you, some of these toxic elements actually move from the ground and they end up in our food. Play with it. Bangladesh, people are suffering from arsenic poisoning, and just like you have seen, because their groundwater is polluted with arsenic, so they are prone to all the ramifications of arsenic contamination.
All right, Doc. Just to come in a little bit. So you mentioned that funding is of prime importance in the pursuit of a postgraduate program. And so we should focus more on funding than necessarily on just seeking the admission, because admission generally is almost accessible to many people. Once you get once you fall within the admission requirements. Okay. Yes. I just want to direct your mind as to a little bit to the process itself.
Yeah, I'll come there. I'm just coming there.
Okay.
I'll come there. I'm building a point, so don't worry.
That's fine.
I'll come there very soon.
That's fine.
Yeah. So now I was a scholar in Kenya. I had a scholarship, DAD scholarship, and that took me to Kenya. So I finished, like I told you, I also applied for another scholarship. I came to Ghana. And I had another DAD scholarship to do my PhD. It is very rare that you get PhD funding for your master's, you get PhD funding for your PhD. So it's very rare. So these are some of the conferences where I attended. I was chosen as a Right Livelihood College junior scientist in 2017 in Bonn, Germany. I was at this seminar in 2017. I did a talk in Cologne in 2018. I was in England for a talk about arsenic contamination of gold mine soils in Ghana. I was in Italy to give another talk in 2019. I was in America 2018. I was in Switzerland 2018. I was in Netherlands 2017. was in Taiwan in 2019 to do experiment at the National Synchrotron Radiation Research Center in Taiwan. All these are connected to PhD. Then lastly, was also in America again, Salt Lake City in 2021 to give a talk about arsenic contamination. And this was what my presentation was about. And lo and behold, 21st December 2021, I defended my thesis successfully, and I became a PhD holder. So these are my two professors, one in Bochum, one in Wuppertal. They trained me in Germany. This is my thesis. My thesis consists of 6 chapters. I did PhD by publication. So you have to write and you have to do experiment and publish. And it is not easy. I was able to publish 6 papers out of my PhD, which is not a small feat. So I have here on the scholar's journey. How do you become like me or any person who had been able to navigate his or her way through graduate school, okay, winning scholarship, winning grant? All the conferences I went, all of them were sponsored. I never used my money. Me, if you ask me to use my money, that time I didn't have money. So I always seek for sponsorship. So this is the book. It looks like this. It's in the book, this is the content of the book. Document to securing funding and getting a prospective supervisor. Then how to write a letter how to write a letter to the professor. Then our friends' letters and how to write proposals. And when you finish, how to write abstracts and how to write progress reports. So this is the book. If you see any other book on the market, so this is the original book. You see the ISBN number, which is there. It is also on Amazon. How much I sell it on Amazon from how much I sell it in Ghana. In Ghana, it goes for 100 Ghana cedis. On Amazon, it is 23 place. Because if I don't do that for the Ghanaians, many people will not get the money to buy. So now I take you through. So I'm going to start. I'm now going to start. Where is the scholar's journey? So this is the scholar's journey. It's quite voluminous because it's 200 and something pages. So the 24 pages. So have here so steps to securing. Let's go to introduction. So as for graduate school, it's essential for those who want to advance on higher education level. And graduate school is where they do masters and PhDs. And so something all of us are aware of that. So now steps and document to securing funding and a prospective supervisor. Now these things are technical, and that you will need a dose of patience, a dose of persistence, and a dose of resilience to be able to get into graduate school, especially outside with funding. Why am I saying that? Because sometimes you are supposed to start very early. You start when you are in your final year, even at the university. If you are doing your master, if you are doing your bachelor's, you start during your final year, you start applying for funding. You start writing to professors to outside. You don't wait till you finish, or you can also wait when you finish when you start your national service, then you have to start. If you are a PhD, if you are a master's student and you want to do a PhD, you start immediately. You start your masters right from there. You start applying, writing to professors and establishing your connection and link and expressing your interest in working with them. Okay, don't wait. I started 2 years before I had the funding because when you write, they will not respond to you. They will not give you feedback. They will not respond. So here I am going to teach you how to capture their attention so that they can respond to your email. Okay, it is not the email that you just write. It's about how you write the email to capture their attention, because they get a lot of emails like that. Everybody entering graduate school all over the world, especially PhDs, go through these processes. So you're not the only person looking for a PhD. Other people are looking for PhD. Others are looking for masters. So you need to be unique in order to get the professor to respond to you. Read your CV, read your statement of purpose, also core motivation. Need someone that can give you a recommendation letter. Very important. And you also have to write a letter to the professor, an email. It's called cold email, sent to the professor that you like to work with him. You have to develop proposals and concepts. Okay, develop proposals and concepts. But in America, you don't need a proposal. You just have to write to the professor. And if you're supposed to write GRE, you're supposed to write it, and you just have to write to the professors. In America, the professor will take you on and you become a graduate assistant. When you become a graduate assistant, so that you will be paid. So then when you are paid, you use that money as your money for upkeep. That's how they do it. In Canada too, it is the same thing. In Germany, you are given the scholarship straight away. So you just have to concentrate on the scholarship and finish your program. So I said after during the scholarship and the funding, you need to be renewing your funding. You have to renew it yearly, especially PhD. So you have to submit progress reports, and you have to submit abstract for conferences, and all of them are very important. So this book checks all these things. Now, how to write to the professor? Before you start, okay, the professor is not your friend. The professor is not your co-equal. The professor is not your classmate. So immediately you start the email with "Dear Sir," you are disqualified. Okay, immediately you start the email with "Dear Sir," it means you don't know what you're about. You have to start by mentioning his name, and if the person has a title, mention his title. Even though white people don't worry themselves about titles, but that is when they are in informal settings. But in formal settings, you have to address them with their title. Okay? And you can call me Albert, but when you call me Mensa, you're supposed to add my title. That is how it is supposed to be officially. So writing emails to prospective supervisors will be said in detail in further chapter 6. So here, do your research. What program do you want to take? Sometimes your field of study may have a different name at the university. What criteria are you supposed to meet to get admitted to your selected program? Keep in mind that some programs may require entrance requirements greater than the minimum. Some programs require additional, such as the GRE. Check on the specifications for that program. What field of study are you interested in? Professors conduct research in your area. So look at what if the professor is, go to the university's website, okay? Then check which professor is doing something similar to what you are interested in, the problem that you want to solve through your research. Okay? So you should one or two professors whose research is relevant. Then be speaking when you are writing your email. I'm going to teach you how to write the email. Email length. You don't write email, dear sir, blah blah blah. Some of you, when you write emails, it even creates trouble. And mind you, emails are not like WhatsApp, where you can unsend what you have sent. Emails, whatever you send cannot be unsent. So you have to create a very formidable impression, a very impressive impression from the beginning. Because when you go, dear sir, blah 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 blah, it's serious. I was in Switzerland, and a professor told me that some of the emails he receives from colleagues in Africa who want to work with him, some of them really is appalling and it's unheard of. So be specific. If you had first class, okay, in Canada, for instance, if you had first class, means it is 90% and above. If you have second class upper, it is 80% and above. okay, they usually require 75%. So you are supposed to convert your GPA into percentage, especially those of us who attended Cape Coast University, that we have GPA. Here, you are supposed to convert it into percentage. And I've given you how to convert yours. So be specific. I'll show you how to write the letters. So professors get dozens of emails from students. If you want to get your email notice, you must give the professor information that they need quickly, and clearly, and professionally. The professor is not your friend. Use title, doctor, and so forth. If your emails short, just 3 paragraphs, no more than 250 words, use complete sentences, use spell check. Check it very well before you send. Remind you that you cannot unsend what you have sent. So, key part, introduce yourself. Dear professor, in 2 or 3 sentences, who you are. Tell the professor who you are. State your degree level and your research area. Give a clear statement indicating that you meet the admission requirement, which includes your grade point, and if required, your English proficiency test results, especially in the UK. Okay, sometimes they want TOEFL or they want IELTS. Please check the English requirement. And in Canada, but usually in Canada, you can take a proof of English proficiency from your university because we are native speakers of English. So it is considered as a proof of English proficiency. Yeah. So I say Ghanaians are native speakers and most often are exempted. So it's an example of how to start. Dear Professor Joe, dear Professor so and so, my name is SSS, and I am from the University of Ghana. I am in my final year of my master's in biology with focus on plant breeding. My GPA is 86% and my TOEFL IBT mark is 100. Okay, so right from the beginning, right on the first sentence, you just write to the professor and give him what he wants. But if you go dear sir, it means you didn't do your research enough, and we don't do that. Okay, make connections and provide reasons to be considered, specific references to make a connection between the work you have done or you have been doing and the research project that the professor is working on. Sometimes you have published something in maybe Daily Graphic, or you have published something in, let's say, My Joy Online or Ghana Web or something. You can, if you see that it links to what you want to do, you can include, and make sure that you include those papers that you are publishing on Modern Ghana, Ghana Web, and put them on your CV. Okay, under editorials. I'll show you my CV, and so you can borrow some point from there. Put them on your CV. And the CV, if you are going to Europe, you have to do specific CV called Europass CV. Europass CV. So do as the requirement state. So if it is Europass CV, just go online, Europass CV. Then it will give you the areas that you are supposed to fill. You fill those areas with the necessary information. Then after that, you download the CV and you have your CV. Okay. So this is a copy of my CV, which you can also borrow some points from there. So I've gone higher. So my CV gets complicated and complicated and complicated. This is a mother CV. It's my mother CV, but depending on when they say I should submit 2-page or 3-page, then I have to make sure that I extract from here. But this is the mother CV. So, but it's a researcher, research focus, present position, you have to state. If you have previous research and academic positions, you have to state them. But your education, then you give your teaching, research, and professional experiences.
So, Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, just to get you clearly, if you want a CV that is usually country specific or region specific. So, for example, if we are applying to Europe, we should go to Europass.
Europass CV. Europass
CV. All right. Okay.
Let me write it in the chat.
Okay.
So you write. So you because if you don't do that one, application will not be accepted.
That's very, very fine. That's very, very fine. Yeah.
Super CV. So it's sorry, the S is supposed to be 2, but I made it 3.
Okay.
So it's in the chat. Okay, can I go on now?
Yes. If you could just jump a little bit to the motivation statement of purpose,
Okay.
or that.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
I'll get it. So
Yeah.
you put your internship that you have done and all that, all of them are important. Is try and quantify the things. I participated in this. I reviewed document. Achieved this. That don't write taking part in conferences, arranging papers. No, quantify. Okay, carried out this and this. I was part of this. If you have any people, this is above masters, and so you have to write them. And if you have any editorial, like research dissertation, to over here, you are bachelor, and media publications or blog. Okay, you can't write everything. Make sure that you select some. They are all very important. Okay, if they have mentioned your name, you have mentioned your name in any media engagement or appearance, you have to also make sure that you I am going to capture this meeting after the meeting as part of the media engagement, appearance, and community outreach. And if in case I've mentioned your name in the media, the YAFO president challenges the EC to come out with something. You're supposed to capture those things on your CV. If you have honors and awards and grants, you are supposed to capture them. If you have done any presentation, you're supposed to capture them. Conferences and other trainings and certificates, you're supposed to capture. If you have done any project, you're supposed to capture. If you have developed any course, you capture. If you have reviewed any, have done any review and editorial activities, you have to capture. So after that, if you have any professional organizations, institute, and so forth, you have to capture languages that you speak. You capture, bring your referees. After that, you sign, you put the date. Okay. So now let's go to how you write to the professor. Professor, write to the professor in Canada. You're supposed to write to the professor for even whether you are going to do your master's or PhD, you're supposed to write to the professor, and the processes are the same. Very important, please. Very, very important. So we have introduced here, Professor Kojo. I'm ABC, blah, 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 blah. Continue. My current research for my master's program is in remediation of contaminated site, and I've just submitted a co-authored article which was accepted by the Journal of Trace Elements and Minerals. I've attached a brief research interest statement with more details. I was reading about your recent work in reclamation of copper polluted site in Zambia on the website, and it looks very interesting. I am interested in building upon my master's experience and expanding my research into related areas. I've attached a copy of my CV and preview. So the request that you are looking for, number 26, I would like to start a preview so and please check the document I have included and let me know if there are any possibilities. Okay, so that's how you write the letter. You finish, yeah, you bring yours faithfully, then you write your name, then you sign off. Okay, so this is my experience. I will not go there. I'll take you straight examples of the letters. So it's getting into PhD.
Okay, Professor. I'm sorry, Doc. Yes, please. We have just about 10 minutes, but I want to seek out your thoughts or your advice regarding.
If you can hold on, please type the question. Let me finish how to write the letters example. Then I take them through the motivation, and I think with the rest, when they get the book copies, they can actually do well for themselves. Okay,
that's fine.
Okay, so letter to the professor. So here I've given specific ways to write the letters. I've given sample letters that you can just copy and just put in. When you see my name, just put in your name. Where you see experience, put in your experience. Just carve a niche for yourself. Okay, I've given all these things in the book. So writing emails is very important. It's a skill and an art that must be learned. Because unlike social media communication, what you send via email cannot be unsent, and they make first and lasting impressions. Therefore, do write a sound one. So tip number 1, kindly do avoid the use of shorthand. If you do not know the receiver, or in case the receiver is a superior, remain formal no matter what. Remain formal no matter what. Try and remain formal. Even if the person is nice with you, remain formal. Things like hi, hello, hey, please avoid. No matter how receptive a superior or mentor is to you, never abuse the niceness and take advantage of that. Still go ahead and make your email very formal. So here, go. Dear Professor, mention his surname. Mention his surname. Dear Professor, so I'll give you some tips. You get a book, good to know. Here I've given practical examples. I gave like 20 or so. So the examples are there for you to follow. So sample examples. There are so many when you get a book. Okay, so I think I will end here. As for the motivation, the statement of purpose. So you see, the examples are so many. Whether you want to write or see, whether you want to write for masters or for the email, that's how you're supposed to go about it. Then now you write your motivations and your statement of purpose. Okay, I've given here how to write the statement of purpose and the motivation, and I've given you samples. Okay, if you are writing a motivation, write about yourself. What makes you qualified for the program? What will the program do for you? What will the program do for your country? Okay, and why that university and why that program? These are some questions you're supposed to answer in writing your statement of purpose and the motivation. Okay, so I'll end here. All the examples are in the book. Try get a copy, and you'll be able to carve a niche for your own self. Yeah. So I think any question, we can now deal with the questions.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Doc. I'm sure if we want to follow it into detail, we may not finish because there's a lot I realize we need to cover from your book. Maybe I would set the ball rolling by asking the first question, and mine has to do with the recommendation process. You realize that many of us may have completed university quite some time ago, quite a long time ago, and unfortunately, some have lost interactions with their professors or their lecturers. Interestingly, many of these institutions that we are applying for scholarships or to pursue our postgraduate programs in require the endorsements of our former professors. Is there any other process? Are there any other group of persons or criteria of persons who can help us regarding
recommendations? Recommendations are very key, very, very important. And you can get them from where you work. Excuse me, where you work is one. Where you work, but please, recommendations are supposed to be provided by someone who knows you, okay, or someone who can provide for you. I mean, someone who can serve as a referee for you.
Yeah.
So you can go to someone, a former place of work where you're working currently, can give you the recommendation. And if you have superior, can also give you the recommendation. But the recommendations are very, very important because they take the recommendations and they make suggestions out of it. Yeah, and most of them, I have written recommendations for so many people. Most of them they confidential, so you don't even know what the referee is writing about you. So please make sure that the person who is going to write the recommendation, someone who knows you, the person is trusted. And that person will write something to where you are going. He will rate you really badly, and you might not be aware. I have someone who was in Germany, and the professor wrote a recommendation for her. It was bizarre. It was disastrous. So imagine if she had not seen before she sent it. Imagine. So for superiors and excuse me. So you get all these things in this book. Sometimes they will ask you to write something about yourself, then so it's here. Sometimes the person will ask you to write something about yourself and bring it. You can just copy what is in this book and just send it to the professor. So referees are in football are between us. So here I gave can be it here. Can be your former boss from your work, previous employment, superior at workplace, your previous supervisor or former lecturer who knows you and your credibility. Okay? So those are the people that you can contact. And make sure the person is trusted. The person can give a good account about you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Doc. Just if there are any questions, please do well to post them in the chat box. I would articulate them to Doc. Doc, I also have another question regarding the regions and also the kind of scholarships or the kind of degrees, or programs that are available. You know, there are a myriad of these institutions that they have programs available for people to pursue. The problem is that because there are so many, it's hard for someone pursuing the humanities, for example, to pick and identify which ones are likely to accept him. You know, so you end up casting his seeds wide, and then many of them will fall on the desert or dry land, and then he wouldn't get
Hello?
Hello? Please, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, so many of them do not get the right places. So because they've thrown their options out to so many institutions and they do not get the callbacks they want. Doc, please, can you hear me?
I lost you.
Okay. What I'm saying is that many institutions make courses or programs available for us to pursue. Now, the thing is, it is hard for potential candidates or applicants to identify which institutions are likely to accept the applications of these candidates. So I just want us to get some generalities or specifications. Say in Germany, are we likely to have more of the sciences? They receive more science applicants, or more humanities applicants, or more business applicants, just for some clarification so that we can be very specific in how we do the applications. Otherwise, we end up throwing so many applications and we do not get any feedback. Doc, please, can you hear me? Oh, I think we've lost him. I think we've lost him. But there's a question here from Sandra, and she's inquiring that Doc explains the process of attaining the funding for the postgraduate program. And I think that is very, very important for many of us. So when Doc comes, he would have to address this question. But is there anyone who has a good experience in postgraduate applications and would want to share as we wait for Doc?
I think there's a question.
Okay, Doc. Yeah, there's a question here. We want further clarification regarding the process in attaining funding for the graduate course? Some clarification is needed here.
So now you want the website where you can get the scholarships to apply, right?
Well, okay, that's what it's on. The process in the attainment of funds for the postgraduate program.
Yes, so the process is what I have already discussed with you.
Okay.
Okay, you will need your CV, reference letter. You will need statement of purpose, and you will need to write to a professor. You know, getting a postgraduate funding. It's not a bachelor's where you just apply. Okay, I've told you that you need to write an email to the professor expressing your interest to work with him. And that is what I've shared with you, how to write that email. Okay, that when you write that email, you go like, dear sir, I saw your program and I want to come and work with you. That's a crap. Okay, there is a way you're supposed to write. In fact, everything that I've taught you here, after bachelor's, there are systematic processes that you're supposed to follow in order to get into graduate school, especially to win scholarship. And the most important one is to write to the professor. I've told you that go to the professor's page, read whatever he's doing, and find where your interest lie. In fact, I must tell you that after bachelor's, okay, you might not get a program that is like chemistry straight away, okay, or agric straight away. No, if you're a PhD, for instance, you may find out that you will just write to the professor because the professor is working on that project. So if the professor gives you the funds, okay, you go and you may be the only person working on that project in that institute because you are working on your, so in PhD, that's why some of us are really peaceful people. However you live your life, I don't care. Okay, because in PhD, your mind is hot and it's about, you are concentrating in your area. Whatever someone is doing, you don't care. So you may be in the same faculty, the same department, but you are the only person working in the subject area which you are investigating. Like when I was doing my PhD, I was the only person working on arsenic with my professor. So I don't have a classmate. I don't have anybody that I discuss with. If you are challenged, you are supposed to go inside your room, cry sometimes. Then who have stayed in their rooms in the first year of your PhD, cry. Something. You are supposed to write to a professor, and the professor will agree that, okay, come and work with me. In the US, I've told you that you still write to a professor like the way I've taught you. In Canada, you still write to a professor. Go to the homepage of the university's website. The professors who are working in your area, write to him or her using the format which I've given you, or the format which are in my book. And the professor, if he's interested in you, he will reply your email. Then he will take you on. Sometimes you can speak with a friend who is working in that particular faculty or institute, and the friend can speak to the professor about you. That's also another way of getting funding. That's what happened to me. Yeah, a friend of mine spoke to the professor. The professor asked me to send my details, and I did, and he took me on.
Great. Thank you very much. Is there any other question? So I can also, any question, if you have a question, kindly raise your hand through the interactive section, and then I'll call you. Mr. Emmanuel Asari has a question. Doc, if you can hear me, he says, please, with the funding you spoke of, you mentioned something about renewal. please, do you go through the application process every year, say 2 years or more, or once granted, you are good to go for all
That's
the
a nice
years
question.
of study?
So in DAD, that's why in my book, I have provided progress reports. You are supposed to justify your inclusion. So your scholarship, you're supposed to make sure that every year you have to write progress reports. Then they will extend it. So in DAD, the scholarship is not automatic. When you get it, you're supposed to write every year to justify that you qualify for the next extension. Then they will look at it and grant you the scholarship. If you did not perform well during the specified period, the scholarship will be confiscated. So that's why I've given him in the book how to write the progress report. Please let me take. My son just woke up. Just a minute.
All right. So as you attend to your son, please, he has a book that's available for all of us. If you are interested, you can contact us through Yafo. We will share a link also in the chat box so you can secure one. It's 100 CDs. But you are a very ardent follower of Yafo. You are going to get a discount, and you are going to get for 80 CDs. So the book is The Scholar's Journey by Dr. Albert Kobina-Mensah. And his specialization area is in soil science, but he's been able to give us a very good account of his journey pursuing the postgraduate program, particularly on funding. So if you are interested in it, please get one also for someone who may be doing it. Maybe you are not interested in it. Someone in your family or a friend of yours may want to do it. This is quite direct. It doesn't beat about the bush, and it's got a lot of samples you can also incorporate into yours. I think that's the good thing about this book. So please, I wholly endorse this book, and I'm sure other persons would also endorse it if you read them. Doc, are you back?
Yeah.
Okay. Please, you may continue.
Yes. So I hope it was clear, right? And these processes that I've
yes,
given,
it was.
They are standard everywhere. Everywhere you go, this is the way to get to graduate school. You are supposed to write to the professor through the email. That's why I'm giving the tips of writing the email. I'm giving the stepwise process to follow to write the email, because the email is what you are going to do your first introduction to the professor. So that's why I said you have to make a very lasting first impression. So that's why you don't go and write the email, dear sir. Immediately write dear sir, you are written off. You write dear, the title, the full name, or usually the surname. Then you go through the process just like I've outlined in the book. Then stand out so that the professor can get back to you. In fact, I must tell you that getting to graduate school to get funding, especially from master's to PhD, is not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. People apply, they don't, but keep on. One day, what you are looking for, you get the answer. I started applying 2 years before I got a professor. So that's why I said, start early. Immediately, if you want to do a PhD, immediately you go start your master's, start applying for professor. If you are a bachelor, if you are a bachelor student, you want to do a master's, in your final year, you have to start.
Great. I think that really is satisfactory regarding the process. One question then, Mr. Nathaniel Dramna would also come. I noticed from your book that you had to participate in a lot of conferences, research activities, probably, and most of them even aside your own pursuits, in order to guarantee your final completion of the program. Is that the situation, or is that what it is supposed to be?
Okay, so especially in PhD, attending conferences are a must. In fact, in my university, you are supposed to attend 2 international conferences and 2 internal conferences. 2 meaning outside Germany and 2 within Germany. I attended several. I attended 8 international conferences when I was in my PhD, just like you've seen it in my slide. So it's compulsory, but then when you are going, you have to write an abstract to submit your abstract so that your abstract can be selected for oral presentation or poster presentation. And in the book, that's why I've given how to write those abstracts for developing abstracts from your project and be sending for conferences. Yeah. So it's in PhD, our examination is presentation, especially when you do a PhD in Europe, because PhD in Europe, immediately you start with your research. You don't even do coursework anymore. You start with your research. So when you get opportunity to make presentation, it's your exams, and it's very important. It's very important because it's a must.
Oh, wow. All right. Thank you very much, Doctor. And I believe at this point, there are no questions. If there are, please put them in the chat box, and I would now hold us all down and then have the president of Yafo Institute, Mr. Nathaniel Dramna, to also give his remarks, and then we shall end our discussions. Mr. Nathaniel Dramna.
So before Nat comes, if anybody wants to get a book, he can keep in touch with Nat, or Nat, I've also given the link to Nat where they can get a book, or you can contact me. I'm in Kumasi, and wherever you are, I will send a book to you via STC or VIP or any other means. I've been doing that. So I've given my number here, 0257870952. So you can contact me, and even if people want to get it in bulk, there are a lot available. If you are in Accra, you can just use a link that I've given you, and they will also come and take for me, and they'll give it to you.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Doc. There is one question still that's pending. Sandra Apronti still is asking for the site, and I'm wondering which site she's talking about. So Sandra, can you please come clear so Doc can address your question? Okay. I believe that has been shared. That's where you can get the book to purchase from. All right, Mr. Nathaniel Dramna, can you take us through your remarks?
Thank you very much. I believe tonight has been a wonderful discussion, and we've learned a great deal from this conversation. I'm glad we hosted this because the depth of knowledge in this book, it can't just remain with us at Yafo on our shelves, but we must, through conversations like this, spread it bit by bit. And also, I'm glad to everyone who joined to tap from the rich knowledge of Dr. A.K. Mensah. He's someone who is always willing to share, German trained, and so he documents everything that he participates in. And that's one thing that you have to take from him, even if you've forgotten everything that he discussed. At least in your daily lives, everything that you do, try to document it, and you can, his CV even attest to it. You document everything so that once it comes in handy, you can you can just put your hand on it. And also, the final thing I would like to say is that let us not end here. There's still a lot that our short time here didn't allow us to discuss. Let us make it a point to purchase the book and read it. It's very, very important. For those of you who follow us, we'll try in our activities to make some available, even for free, only at Yafo conferences. But for now, you can just lay your hand on it. It's 100 cedis in Ghana. He has done his best to reduce it to 100 cedis. So let us all get it. There's a great deal of knowledge in there. It is good. In Ghana, most lecturers that we have all studied under, they won't share these steps for you. They won't share. And one thing I take from this is that when I was reading, I got to realize that when you need reference, it's not all the time that you have to travel to your school. But if you have even friends who know you and even have doctorate, you can take reference from them and then proceed, and that is also fine. And I had all those from this book. So please and please try your maximum best that after this event you get. I would like to thank you all for being a part of this discussion too as well. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Nathaniel Jamna. Quick one, next week we shall have another webinar, and that's the last session on divine economy, an encounter with the divine economy model. And that's also going to be very, very interesting. So please do join us in that discussion to 7 p.m. same time next week on a different topic. We would have other sessions too that we would announce to you on our social media platforms. So follow us on Facebook, Yafo Institute, follow us on all other social media platforms. We are there, and then engage with us and see the good works we are doing. So thank you very much, Doctor, once again for sharing your thoughts on how to pursue funding, especially for our postgraduate program. Your book is going to be very, very helpful. So please, I'll add my voice to this so that we can all benefit from some postgraduate program. In the next few years, 2 years or 3 years, we should be seeing MSc added to our names, PhD, MPhil, among others, and we feel good about it. Thanks to Dr. Kobina Mensah. On that note,
I would like to say just 1 minute, some few words about
sure.
graduate school. You know,
Sure.
graduate school, you can do it in Ghana, you can do it abroad. But I always recommend at least go out there and come. Okay, if you go, you don't want to come again, it's your own issue. If you want to come, but then it's a good experience. You know why? Because you've schooled all your life here in Ghana, and education is not only what you are taught in the classroom. The environment alone does something to your mind, and it rearranges your brain, and you think fine. Okay, and the fact that you are schooling and they are paying for you in terms of funding, and they are giving you money to do your research is awesome. You can save some part of the money, and when you finish the university or when you finish the program, I was building my house from the money I was earning in Germany until government put a stop because they said they are constructing railway and my house is affected. So since then, they have not even paid me the house was nearly completed. They have not even paid me my compensation. Yeah, so go out there, experience life, and see how life outside also is, and get yourself educated through the traveling, and it does something to your brain. It will really help you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we will end with this quote in one of the Amachi songs. See, it could also international. So do travel out and then go and experience something. I've just shared with us the Yafo Facebook page. Join us there and engage with us on that platform, and you can get some freebies. Thank you very much once again for joining us this Saturday evening. You could be preparing for other things, but you chose to join us, and you are free to go and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you once again, and hope to see you next week, Saturday, same time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.